Hello you lovely people, welcome back to another video. Quite an interesting one today. Down at Robbie's unit and doing some work on the Audi project car. So getting back onto it, trying to make it a nice car again. I've had a massive boost leak for a couple of weeks and I've not, I didn't have a clue what it was. Changed a few boost pipes and that, a few seals on the boost pipes and that, and it's still not driving how it used to. And it was fuzzing in my brain. I installed an EGR delete a couple of weeks ago, ready for the boost gauge, and I've just gone to remove the bolt that went into the EGR delete to blank the hole to put the nipple in for the boost gauge, for the vacuum line to the boost gauge. And as I've gone to put it in, I've realised there's a hole there. So that's where my boost was going basically. It's straight out the EGR delete. Instead of going in that manifold into the engine, it's been going up in the hole. So yeah, that's my problem. But yeah, so the gauge is already installed. You need to watch the EGR delete video to understand how to kind of do it. You need the EGR delete ready. And then go from there, you basically run the tap off the EGR delete, run a vacuum line around the engine bay, under the scuttle panel, and then down the hole where the bonnet catch is, thread it through, and then into the back of the vent basically by the driver. So I'll get to it now. But here we are, just at Robbie's. And yeah, just had her clean. She looks quite good to be fair. Yeah, I've just been up to the local kind of place and we got blue, but I'm quite happy with blue to be fair. So EGR delete there, and the tap is just behind it. So I don't know if you can see, just there, just at the back of the EGR delete. So you run that, and then you basically run it through here, under here, and then all the way under here, and then under the scuttle panel, and then basically the bonnet catch goes just under there, and you run it through there, and then under the dashboard, and then up and into the back of the vent basically. So it's not actually that difficult to do, and it's quite a nice little mod to be fair. So it'll be a good one. This is how I've wired it in. So you've got a positive and a ground. So the ground is basically I've wrapped the wire around that bolt and then tightened it, and then I've run the positive into a crimp to a fuse position, and it's on in an ignition dependent live. So the ignition comes on power, when the ignition goes off, power goes off. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll show you now. It's quite a cool little mod to be fair. I like doing these in my cars. There you go, that's how it works. Anyway, I'll get to taking the scuttle panel off and that basically. So when you do it, you need to obviously put the nipple into the EGR delete, run the vacuum hose round, take the under the wipers 2 13mm and take the covers off, and then just keep wiggling them and they'll come off eventually. Then the scuttle panel lifts off. If it doesn't come off, you've just got to keep wiggling it and it'll come off. And then I'll get to it and then we'll show you where to go from there. But it's not too difficult to be honest with you. Yeah, nice little mod. But you have to pull the bush jets out when you do it as well. So they literally just pull out, pull them out, and they come out of the scuttle panel. And then you've got, this is under the scuttle panel, so you've got ECU and all that. And then you want to run your silicone vacuum line all the way around here, all the way like next to the bonnet cable, hidden. And you want to run it to where's the bonnet cable go? To here, and there's a little grommet just there. You've got to pull him out and basically keep wiggling, and then you thread it through and basically pull it the other side. It's a bit of a pain in the arse to begin with, but once you get there it's not too bad. And then yeah, when you're taking off the 3 8mm for the centre console and the steering wheel, then you are left with all these wires. So you got that one for your two for your headlights, that one you pull them to and then pull it out, and then wiggle it, that will come out. And then you've got this one, so there's a little thing at the bottom, you just pull it up, just a little tab, pull it up just there and then wiggle it, and it'll come out like that. Then you've got the OBD one, so you've got 3 little prongs, one there and one there, one there, so 3. So you do the top one and then use both your other fingers and then try and pull all 3 at once. It's a bit of a pain. 2 seconds. You might have to use 2 hands, and then that unplug 1 and 2, that unplugs, and then your trim is free to a new home, so you put that over there. And then, so this is where we look for that blue silicone hose I was threaded from the bonnet cable. So you follow the bonnet cable, so see that goes up, so you follow that up, and then you basically get your hand up and then have a little finger around, and I'll let you know when I find it, and I'll show you. So basically, as you're looking down from the footwell, looking up, there's, as the bonnet cable goes, so it goes up there, and it goes into a rubber bung, which obviously goes into the scuttle panel, and then I'll get a light, and then, so the bonnet cable goes up there, into that bung, so you follow that, get your hand, and then you should be able to move your hands around and feel the silicone that you threaded through. It's a bit tight, and then I'll show you when I threaded it through. Here you are. So I've managed to get the blue silicone. So obviously you pull it through, keep pulling, and then you've got it this end, and then just pull it through, pull it all the way. Obviously, just get that cut. Oh, it's a bit tight. And then once you pull it through, keep pulling it. Obviously you don't want it too crazy. So then that's there, and then obviously you'll want a cable tie it around the engine bay, so then obviously that goes like that, and you'll run it through. You can run it around that, and the wiper system, and then in under there, and then around the crash panel, and then around the crash panel like this. Make sure you have enough material, and then so that goes around that, and then it gets hidden under here, so you won't be able to see it. Yeah, so you hide it behind there with the bonnet cable. Basically that's the theory. You can cable tie it to the bonnet cable so it stays nice and hidden, and then it will obviously be hidden under the scuttle panel, and then yeah, so lovely. So now I need to pull the vent out. Pull the vent out. I need to trim this. So probably going to see, it needs to go into the back of the vent, which isn't that much. Obviously the vent is just there, so you kind of put it up into there. I'll show you anyway, but I need to trim this, and then yeah, that's it, basically complete. Then you just have to put the car back together, but I'll keep you posted with how I get on trimming it and putting it into the vent. Right, so that is the boost gauge. So the boost gauge is working. I've just been out for a road test and it works perfectly. It goes to about 1.5 bar of boost, which is stock turbo. I don't think it's bad, but I think there is more potential in that. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I'll show you it all working in a minute. Just going to put this all back together. So obviously you plug your OBD back in, plug your headlight switches back in, then you've got 3 8mm, one there, one just under there, and then one on the other side, and that's back in. Then obviously you clip your trim back in, and then covers that, and then I'm going to cable tie the vacuum line around the engine bay to hide it, kind of thing, and then go from there. And then obviously put the scuttle panel back on, wipers back on, and then yeah, jobs are good then basically. So yeah, quite a not a difficult mod, maybe about an hour and a half, but very effective and quite decent mod to say the least. Boys and girls, that is how she works. Last day in Mauritius, look at that for a view. I don't know what video this will be in, but this will be one of my outros. There won't be any more of these, so make the most of it while you can. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Boom.